How's it going, guys? I want to talk a little bit about the right to repair because it's a thing that's going on, a thing that's going to be changing in the world coming up, and you could be a part of it. We need as many people as we can get, pretty much. Now, this is something that is kind of near and dear to my heart because I've been on this side of it. I've worked for repair centers, and I've been in there taking stuff apart, fixing it, replacing parts, soldering new things on. I've done that. There's some real issues here, and I want to talk about it a little bit. Now, there is this site. I don't know if this is the main thing for it. I'm going to show you a couple other things too. Now, the way I mainly heard about the recent happenings of this was from a guy named Louis Rossman, which I'll show you his channel here real quick. Yeah, Louis Rossman, who does a bunch of videos about fixing MacBooks and just stuff like that. He just owns a little shop where he does it. You've probably heard of him. He's pretty popular on YouTube and stuff. But yeah, I've been here. I've done this. I've taken apart MacBooks. I've fixed them. But when I did it, I was going through official channels. I had to, yeah, like when something went wrong with a MacBook, you pretty much had to open a ticket with Apple. You couldn't repair any of this stuff. You weren't allowed to fix a motherboard or anything like that. You basically had to send the old parts back, and they would send you a new one. So you weren't really allowed to touch anything with the MacBooks. We were basically allowed to open them up and run the tests and send parts and get parts. We weren't really allowed to do anything else than that. Now that's just one company. Of course, there's other companies involved in this too. All right, and just to say a few more things on when I actually worked for a company that did some of these repairs, and it was like it was a well known, well, not well known, it was an official company. Well, I don't want to say the exact name of it, but to get all the Apple manuals and the diagnostics and the stuff to do your own repair, you weren't allowed. Apple would only give that to certified repair centers. They would not give any of the stuff to repair your own things to consumers. Now this was like quite a few years ago. So are they coming around? I don't know. I'm not in that world anymore, but it was definitely a thing. And it was the same with other companies too. It was the same with Dell and HP. That you could find some stuff, but you could find some of the manuals. You could actually find a lot of the technical manuals for HP and Dell. I think you could find most of those, but they're kind of hard to find. But the Apple ones you could not. You had to actually be a certified center. Just any consumer couldn't get them. So even as this certified repair center that I worked at, we would often have to torrent tools because they were not available to fix people's stuff. And it was stuff that was under warranty. And we were a repair center that was supposed to be able to do it. And we literally couldn't find the documentation unless we went and hacked it. So obviously we didn't tell anyone this. Some of us repair guys would just be like, hey man, I got this tool. It's really useful. We need it. And we would just be like, all right, let's do it. Just hush hush. It's going to save everybody tons of time. And it was bizarre to have to use those methods just because of this kind of stuff. All right, back to editing. So let's talk about this website. Now, I don't know who runs this website. I just found it through the Google search by Googling right to repair. I don't know if Mr. Rossman is involved in this, but it does have some info, and I think it's good info as far as I can tell. Correct me if I'm wrong. So let's just look a little bit on this site and see what we can find. Oh, let's start on the home site. Okay, so the bottom line here is what they say right on the front here. So I'm just going to read it. We have the right to repair everything we own. Some big things. Repair jobs are local jobs. This is true. This is one of my, I had a job doing this stuff and it was local and it was something that helped me and I learned a lot from it. So it is a real thing. If we don't get to do this, everything's just going to get shipped to the main company and we're going to have some group in a warehouse somewhere fixing it and the local people won't be able to do anything. So it would be all bad. Why do we need the right to repair? Yeah, that's the first question I'm going to ask because it's like, it's your stuff. Do what you want with it. Like, who's going to tell you any different? But apparently, you could potentially get sued and stuff like that for modifying your own stuff or fixing your own stuff, which blows my mind. And as far as we can tell, that is illegal. So let's just read this. The presence of technology parts and modern equipment has enabled manufacturers to reduce access to repair by proclaiming that repair might violate their proprietary rights. This is a marketing ruse and not grounded in law. Yeah, that's what we always knew it as, pretty much. Even when we're repairing stuff, we would even tell customers that. We would say that, yeah, they're going to try to make you buy a new one. Yeah, if something goes wrong, they're going to say, I don't want to mess with it, just buy a new one or trade it in. When you don't need to do that, sometimes it's a really simple fix. Sometimes it's just a little bit of education and you can save yourself a ton of time and money and all kinds of stuff. But if that happens, then the company doesn't make their additional $800 or whatever. So yeah, it is often a marketing ruse, and it's pretty obnoxious. All right, manufacturers do not have any rights to control property beyond the sale. Limitations on repair have become a serious problem for all modern equipment. Also limits how equipment can be traded on the used market. The best primer for this topic is The End of Ownership by renowned law professor Aaron Perzonoscu. I'm sure I said that wrong, but I'll try to find this and link it below. The End to Ownership sounds like a pretty interesting read on the topic. And yeah, it's something that's been going on for a while. So, all right, let's read a few more of these. Why is legislation needed in the states? Most current limitations on repair are made in contracts, such as end user license agreements that, if agreed, limit how equipment can be used. If you bought the thing, you should be able to use it how you want. Contracts fall under the general business law in the states. Legislation for right to repair is typically assigned to committees handling general business law. So the people that handle this have nothing to do with it. That annoys me, you know? Like, the people that know how to do this stuff, the people that might know how to fix it or might know what they're doing, have no say in it. Currently, it's just businessmen in suits who have no idea. They're just reading paperwork and, signing, that sort of thing. Isn't repair illegal under copyright law? No. The U.S. Copyright Office concluded in December 2016 that poor interpretation of the copyright law has led to confusion, but the copyright law does not restrict repairing, tinkering, customization, security, research, or resale. We're already allowed to do this. So this actually makes me question, if it's not currently illegal, then why do we need this? Just do it. Like, they can't do anything if it's not currently illegal. I think in simple binary terms, if it's not illegal under copyright law, maybe there's some other law. But if the answer is no, then you continue on with your life and stop wasting your time, basically. That's like the programmer way. If true, continue type of thing. In this case, if not false, whatever. Well, headphones off, real talk. All right, let's just continue. I'm gonna pretend I'm gonna pretend this said yes. Now this has become an April Fool's video. Not intentional. What would the legislation change? The bill requires original equipment manufacturers provide consumers and independent repair business people equal access to repair documents, diagnostic tools, service parts, and firmware. Okay, so I guess this is probably the big thing and probably answers the previous question. So repair isn't illegal, but if you don't have the information to know how to repair it, because the company won't release repair documents or diagnostics or tools or firmware, if they keep that all internal and proprietary and say, hey, if you have a problem, you have to come to us because we have all the stuff and we won't release it, that's probably where the problem comes in. So I imagine this bill might work to basically force them to release all this stuff for this equipment that you buy. So maybe that's how this works together, because sure, it's not illegal, but if you can't get the things you need because it's proprietary and you basically would have to spend, I don't know, 10 years of your life reverse engineering or something. Well, when the info is already out there, I guess this would probably force them to release the stuff they should have already released. All right, how does this impact customer choice? Local repair and resale businesses would not exist without consumers purchasing manufactured products. Rights to repair or fair repair legislation is for consumer rights to choose all the stuff. All right, what will happen to retailers? Nothing. All right. This right to repair falls only on the manufacturers, not the distributors, retails, or franchises. All right, so there's a bunch of other stuff here. I've heard of auto right to repair. Is it similar? Absolutely. Right to repair is current law for auto repairs. Okay, so yeah, I guess there's a thing with vehicles where you have the right to repair your own vehicle. Now it's moving to electronics as we move forward. Yep, so you can go sign here and it might help some. You might as well, it's free to do. But you can also support Lewis and his whole lobbying effort. That's probably going to be the bigger deal, I would imagine, in this case, because, yeah, to do all this stuff and get all the ads and everything, this is just going to need to be pushed as much as possible. I think it's inevitable, basically, at some point. But, yeah, the word needs to get out there. So if you have extra money to donate, feel free, you know? All right, well, that's basically it. Just wanted to bring awareness to that instead of making a troll April Fool's video. I figured I'd actually do something somewhat useful and just talk about this a little bit. Because yeah, it's a real thing, and a lot of people are losing money because they just have to go through the official and get way overcharged or rebuy the same thing, and it's not necessary. It's not required. It's just the way the companies are setting it up. Let's stop this big tech a little bit and actually be allowed to spread knowledge, because that's also what I'm about here. This is about spreading knowledge, and that it's very relevant to a lot of different things because of that. Like if we have the right to repair, and we do, if they actually release these documents, that's just going to increase the overall knowledge level of everyone out there, as we're allowed to go do our own research and not have to be, I don't know, just have things hidden, basically, that shouldn't be to begin with. All right, that's it for this video. See you guys.
Knowledge.